All right, y'all, about to get this party started. So, okay, thank you for those of you on Zoom. Thank you guys for being here, and thank you for waiting for me as I work this out really quick. And for those of you that are either watching live or watching the replay, thank you guys so much. Today, I just want to talk briefly about SOPs, of course, like getting started, and then also like best practices for using Trainual, how it looks like, and all that jazz. But I'm going to keep this pretty short. I'm not going to go too much in detail in this video just because I don't have my own stuff set up fully yet. And two, I just want to make sure I have everything set up on my end before I try to show the full details so y'all can actually see like the visual and not just me talking and pointing stuff out. So without further ado, let me go ahead and share my screen so you guys can see Trainual. And I'll just kind of guide it through. Come on, Zoom. We ain't about to do this today. All right. Hopefully, if y'all are on Zoom, if y'all can see it, just let me know. If you can't, just let me know. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So first things first, when it comes to doing SOPs, and I'm going to talk about Trainual in just a moment, if you are just getting started with your standard operating procedures, I highly, highly, highly recommend starting with your personal business standard operating procedures. And by that, I just mean like your company policies and like your goals and all that good stuff first. So that is why too, like the personal template, if you already have that, this is why I focus heavily on like goals and figuring out like your marketing, all that good stuff. Everything you can think of as you are running the business by yourself and how you want to expand, whether it be like selling your business or passing it down, whatever the case may be. You want to make sure all that stuff's kind of like mapped out so you kind of have like a visual, because when you're doing your standard operating procedures, it's one of those things that kind of grow with you, but also it's one of those things where you want to make sure you can kind of set it and forget it for a little bit. You're always going to have to update these, but like you want to make sure you're kind of setting yourself up to where you can update it and not just kind of going with the wind, because if you're just going with the wind, when you record standard operating procedures, it's going to show that you're just going with the wind and it's just going to be a hot mess. How do I know this? Because I did this when I first started hiring people and I didn't know fully what direction I wanted to take with my business. I was just kind of guessing, and I heard SOPs were the way to go, but I had no clarity on like how to actually do that. So when you're recording chaos shows up in your standard operating procedure. So first things first, just go ahead and start off with your personal your business boundaries and just kind of where you want to go at. I guess I should have brought the template too, like so I could talk about that as well, but I'll do that another day. So anywho, so as you can see, this is Trainual. This is just in my desk. Whenever you make an account with Trainual, it's just gonna have this like how to use it like right off the flip, just because it's their software and they want you to use it and they want you to know how to use it. And also usually there'll be other stuff here, but I have not completely filled mine out yet. I was supposed to have that done before this month, but it is what it is. I am switching over from ClickUp, so a lot of you probably seen my stuff from last year. My library is technically in ClickUp, but I am shifting over to Trainual, so it's fun times right now. But anyway, so my desk, normally there'll be other stuff. When I do this video again, I'll be able to show more how things look, but right now it's kind of bland. But anyway, my desk, it shows you how to use Trainual. And then the fun part, like I was mentioning, make sure before you get started with doing your standard operating procedures, make sure you are focusing on like your company as a whole. Like, what is the mission of your company? What is the vision of your company? These are things you actually want to make sure you at least have an idea before you start bringing people on, because you want to make sure you are hiring people that not only fit your company and your vision, but like respect or at least line up with what you're doing. So whenever you come in Trainual, like you have like the company, they have templates and everything. I don't use much of them just because I have one way my brain works, but they do have templates. They make it super easy for you to get started inside of here. But before I kind of go on and on about this, but I just want to focus first. So whenever you're doing standard operating procedures, like I said, focus on like the business boundaries. So as you can see, like it has like the job descriptions, the type of stuff you want to hire for. This is also in the personal SOP template under the team section. Like who do you want to hire? Like why you want to hire them? Like the times and everything you want to hire them. All that good stuff. All that stuff's inside the template as well. But yeah, so company, this is where you want to start out at. Oh my gosh, I didn't even mention this, y'all. So if you want to use Trainual, I do not suggest getting this if you are just by yourself. I would honestly still use a project management tool. That's just kind of like a tidbit. Like, yes, I'm part of the company and everything, but if you're a solopreneur and you are planning to be that way for a little bit, or if you do hire people, but it's kind of like projects and not really consistent, I wouldn't even bother with this either right now. This is more so if you are finding like dedicated people, like you want them to be in your company for however many months or years or whatever. So that's more so for this, like we call it the business playbook. So that's why I'm like kind of like struggling, like, okay, playbook, SOP. We call it playbook. The business playbook is Trainual. So if I do slip up and say playbook, I just mean Trainual and SOPs. But so before you get started, Trainual is more so for those that are like really ready to like bring on a team and all that good stuff. So I wouldn't get it if you're just a solopreneur, or if you're still kind of like playing around with hiring and stuff. I wouldn't get it. Just get a project management tool and start your library that way. And your things, you still definitely start your SOPs, but you don't have to invest with Trainual just yet, if that's where you are inside your business. So I just wanted to put that tidbit out. I meant to say that in the beginning, but dealing with technologies kind of has my head all over the place. But anyway, so the company, like I mentioned, make sure you focus. I would do this part first. Like you are like thinking about investing, like you fit the bill, not tidbit. If you fit like the bill when it comes to Trainual and you want to like invest in, it's like, oh, it's kind of overwhelming, but again, all software is overwhelming. So start off with the company, and this goes for too for project management tools. Like start out with like your business boundaries, like your business hours, what exactly your company is trying to do, what your goals you're trying to achieve. And then you kind of break down your further, like what kind of social media platforms are you guys going to be on? Things like that, all that stuff, like you kind of just want to have like a whole overview. So like it says, it has descriptions too of what all this stuff is, but I just want to reiterate that. And then people, I'm still adding, I like this little feature just because as you start building and trying to figure out who's who inside your company, this helps not only like myself, like my OBM, you can see her here, she's helping me get this stuff in order before I bring everybody else on, but like have like an org chart, tell you who's who inside the company. And as you get bigger, of course, it's more spread out and it looks a lot cooler, but there's that. Then of course, the people, like they have a directory, who does what role inside like this. Again, I'm not gonna spend too much time on it because that was kind of like self-explanatory. Then the policies, how this is different from the company, the company settings. The policies are more so for like, I guess we could say like more detail. So like your company policies. I don't know if y'all ever had like worked in corporate, you know, like they had policy handbooks, like this is how you do this. This is where a lot of times too, like where the gosh, I'm trying to think something less usually in the policy handbooks. I guess, yeah, they pretty much have like everything from point A to point Z, from like the business hours and everything except for just a little bit more detail. So you can honestly put like some of the same stuff from like your company inside the policies, and this is kind of like a bit more. Mine, I'm online based, so I don't have a whole lot of policies because we're online. It's just like, and I work with contractors on top of it. So it's just like whenever you work, just please just make sure you meet the due date. That's like pretty much the only policy, one of the main policies I have, but it's gonna vary across the companies. But if you're one of the companies that has like, if you're a brick and mortar, definitely, like y'all have different standards. Like if you have like in person, like where do people park? Like where does this happen? Then yeah, you're gonna wanna have that. Yours is gonna be a little bit more filled out. But again, it just depends on the type of business and all that stuff, how much you're actually gonna have inside this section. And a lot of times you can honestly just kind of get away with in the company section. But I just want to point that out. So policies, of course, and I talk about this too on social media and a lot of my classes too. Your policies, they tell you the what of your business, they don't tell the how. This is where we get to the process, and this is what comes up like the full SOPs. So a lot of times companies will give you the what, like they'll tell you what to do. They'll tell you like the whole shebang of their business, like what you need to do and all that stuff. But sometimes they don't show you how to actually do that in the process. So this is where a lot of miscommunication happens, just because you can tell people to do something. I use social media a lot because that's the first thing that pops in my head, and I'm broadcasting live on social media. Oh, let me make sure I answer. Oh yeah, I got y'all. I'm gonna mail out the replay. But so this is so the policy. So a lot of times, and I lost my train of thought. Coming back, I was gonna start over. So with the policies, again, this is where a lot of miscommunication happens, especially I'll say for myself too, like just starting out, like I would tell people what I would hire contractors. I would tell them what needs to be done, but I left out the how. I just kind of figured like, oh, I'm hiring this person. They're a specialist inside their business. They should know how the things work, or maybe they'll find a way for me to do things better in my company, or they'll find a way. They'll kind of figure it out. Like I told them what, like I just kind of left them alone and like let them figure out the how. And that's where a lot of, I'll say for myself and just for other people too, this is where like a lot of the negative stuff comes from when it comes to hiring. Because it's just like, oh man, I hired this person to do this and she didn't even like pay attention to anything just because she didn't have the how. Like we told them what to do. And I blame like the corporate mindset too, because they kind of slapped us with those big employee handbooks. At least they did for me. And it's kind of like, just read that and then you should know everything. Or they'll give us like those long drawn out videos where people don't really pay attention to. I have a very short attention span. This is why I even started doing this just for my own business. I didn't know it was just like a huge thing when I first started doing this. I was just like, I can't pay attention to this. I can make a long video showing like everything, but I was like, I have to break this up just for myself because I can't sit there in front of the camera and just record off and on. But anyway, so with the policies, as I go into a tangent, y'all tell me if I go too off, y'all just tell me like in the comments something like, girl, focus, get back to the discussion. But anyway, so policies, again, this tells you the what of your business, not the how. So this is just like all the what's of your business going here in your policies. These are your company policies. You set the standard, it all goes here. Now, this is my favorite part, the processes, the SOPs, the nitty gritty, like all that stuff. So a lot of times I want to say too, whenever you're doing like I'll start with the personal SOPs, like your business boundaries. Those aren't going to really have to, those don't really need a full like SOP, like the video showing them how to do this. Like you can't show how your business hours are. It's just, it is what it is. Can y'all, I hope y'all can still hear me. If you can still hear me, please let me know in the chat. I just realized my screen froze yet again. Oh, goodness. Zoom has been really ghetto this week, and I was hoping it didn't happen. No. But I'm gonna keep recording just in case. I can't even access the chat. But anyway, so hopefully this is still recording and hopefully you guys still hear me. I will just hopefully this pops back up and then I can answer questions. Okay, good. Oh God, I don't know about y'all, but everything, Google Meet, Zoom, all that stuff has been acting up with me this week, like just freezing nonstop. I don't know if it's just my end or what. But anywho, so processes. This is where you're going to show the how of your business. This is where the library is going to live at, the processes, because this is where you're going to show where everything is at. So when it comes to the how, especially when it comes to standard operating procedures, as I was saying earlier, I don't know if y'all heard me about that one, but I'm going to repeat myself again. So when it comes to, what was I saying earlier? Whatever. All right. So we're just going to go ahead and keep it moving when it comes back in my head. Yeah, I was like, I don't know. This has been weird. When it comes back in my head, I'll just kind of revert back. But anyway, so when it comes to doing your full SOPs, oh, now I remember what it was. So I want to mention too, like when it comes to your personal standard operating procedures, do not feel like you have to document like everything on that side too. The personal standard operating procedures, like the policies and everything, those are more so just kind of like a reminder or I guess just a standard. I guess we'll say standard. That's not the word I'm going for either, but we're going to say standard. So that's just kind of like the standard you kind of want to like uphold. Like everybody goes to that, everybody learns that. Like those are just like the basics of the company. If you're going to work for the company, like we support this, we do this, whatever the case may be, that's what it is. You kind of want to set that standard first before you try to bring other people in. And also too, before you can even do like SOPs or create an SOP library, you have to make sure you have like an idea of where your business is going. So this is why I mentioned like your goals and stuff, or like what you're planning to do. And again, I like to break those down by quarter. You can still kind of like map out the year. Like I want to do this year. I want to make this much this year by doing this. I need to hire these people. That's totally fine. But like, it helps if you break it down by like the quarters. So like Q1, we're still in Q1. For me, one of my things was to update Trainual by February. That didn't happen, but I still got another month. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just shift all my goals and stuff that I didn't meet in January over to February and just try again. Like, we're not in a race. So it's just, it is what it is. So I just want to mention that. So whenever you're doing SOPs, like, don't feel like you have to do like literally everything. Just by setting your boundaries, I call it boundaries. It's your company policies. I call the policies boundaries. I'm sorry, y'all. So if y'all get confused, that's what's happening. But as long as you set like your policies, your boundaries inside your business, and then try to bring other people on and then try to create the SOPs, then you're good. But you have to start with your personal standard operating procedures, because that's where a lot of people mess up at. And then, like I said earlier, when you're kind of just documenting and trying to put stuff together, you're just documenting the chaos that you have inside your business. And when you bring people on, it enhances the chaos, because, you know, service providers or whoever you hire inside your business, they enhance your business. So if you didn't set like any standards, or if you didn't set any policies that you kind of like stuck with yourself, when you bring somebody else on, they're going to bring that on, and it shows up. So I just want to say that. I like to say this a lot too, because again, not only because I went through it myself, it's just like working with other companies as well. It's just like, we miss this part. I don't know why we miss this part. I guess because it's like really boring sometimes. But anywho, it is what it is. So yeah. Okay, so now to the fun part. Let's say that you already did your personal standard operating procedures, you got your boundaries, like you're good. Like, I need to start documenting, like, what exactly do I document and how do I document? So again, like I said, I start with the quarter. So this is why I like to imagine like my quarter. I try to figure out if I'm going to be hiring somebody, if I'm going to be needing help, like all that stuff. That's kind of stuff I kind of think about. You kind of the accounting and your business budget and stuff, that's a part of like your financial personal SOP, which again, that's one of the things you don't really have to document for somebody else. You just kind of have it inside like your, honestly, you don't need to put that in your policies neither. Like, certain things of your personal business and operating procedures, you don't have to put out, but it's good to have, especially if you decide to sell your business, because people want to know if you're profitable. So that's why it's super important not only to care about your finances just as an everyday thing, but like if you want to sell, they're going to want to know if your business is profitable. So you got to make sure you have that component somewhere. You don't have to keep it like inside your policy or something. You can keep it like in Google Docs, whatever you feel comfortable with, but you need to have that somewhere. You need to be keeping up with your finances. You got to keep up with your money. Little tangent, coming back to this. So when it comes to doing SOPs, so let's say that you have your personal stuff done, everything's going straight, like good, yada, yada, yada. Where do you start? Again, start the quarter. What are you hiring for? If there's something that you are hiring, I know general admin is usually something a lot of people hire for. So if you're hiring somebody for general admin, I'm about to click on that, because that's something too that is needed a lot. I use contractors in my business to help my client work. So that's why I have some of this stuff in here. So when you're doing a full SOP, helpful. I didn't even tell y'all about the dang thing. I was just clicking. I'm sorry, y'all. So the process is, like I mentioned, this is the library. I'm just clicking stuff, my bad. So we have like the subjects. I use general admin. I break everything up. This is not the full amount of different topics we have inside my business, but as you can tell, I have something for general admin, then I have Gmail, Google separate, like the workspace and stuff. Social media, for those that do social media engagement, they have their training stuff there. But anywho, everything is kind of broken down by subjects. So in your processes, when you are deciding to go with Trainual, everything's going to be broken down. I think I'm saying that's right. You create a subject. So you have all your subjects. Your subjects are the overview of the topic. That's not the word I want to use. Whatever, it just depends how you break your business down, because I know this is mine. But anyway, so we have the subjects, like we have general admin, like the type of task. So that's my subject, general admin. Then inside there, let me move the chat. Inside there, they have like the different topics, and the topics are like the individual tasks. So for the individual task, so you have the subject, that's the broad overview of the component of the business. So like that was general admin task. And then inside here, you have the topics. The topics are the individual tasks. I say tasks because mine is coming from ClickUp, and that's how I have mine situated in ClickUp. But this is just kind of like one of the processes. Yeah, I guess we'll say processes. So if I'm confusing y'all, let me know. This is the processes that we have, like the process of conducting research and data entry. So they're gonna click on that. So if they have to do like a task to do research, they click here, they go to general admin because it's under general admin. Then they come here under the topics, like which topic am I looking at? They're gonna find underneath here. So however you decide to break down your business, it's gonna be different for all of us. So I can't say too much on that, but feel free to leave a comment or ask questions about that. I can definitely tell you a better detail when it's individual. For this one, I'm just gonna use mine as an example, but anywho, so I tell somebody they need to do some general admin tasks. They come in here to the processes. This is where the library is at. It's a general admin task. I need to do some research. They know it's a general admin task. They come here, they look and see wherever the thing is at. Here it is. And then it's some like quick tips on doing research and how we structure it in Google Sheet. So that's just like a quick example on that. This is very old, so I need to like redo this video, but but anywho, so whenever you're doing a full SOP, so this is what this looks like. So of course you have the video, ideally 5 minutes or less. The quickest you can get everything into one video, the better. But if it's like a whole bunch and you can break it up into segments, do that. Like you don't want to overwhelm people. And sometimes some people just need like a little like, oh, let me see how you get to this step. They don't need the whole thing. But overall, when you're doing this SOP, you want to make sure 1 is video, 2, it has captions. And I have Loom. I use a paid version of Loom. So like it does a transcript as well. I just kind of clean it up. And then if I want to be fancy and do like a blog style type thing, and blog style is just like the screenshots showing like the step-by-step thing, you can do that as well. And you can do that in here too. It will just kind of be like the next topic. So I wish I had mine done so I could show y'all. But if it was like I did like the step-by-step blog topic style type thing, it would be, okay, so we're doing research, it'll be like step 1, go to Google Drive. So that would be step 1, and then you kind of give them like the instructions. How do I go to Google Drive? Like which email am I going under Google Drive? And then like show them how to do that. And the video of course shows the how, because the policy, again, they show the what. So you're telling them what to do. Go to Google Drive, like step 1, go to Google Drive. That is the what. And then the video shows the how. So this makes it a full SOP just because you're telling them what to do. And not only that, you are also showing them how to do said step, said thing. So yeah, so I hope that makes sense. Next time when we do this video, I'm gonna have like the actual step-by-step so I can actually show y'all. I don't really have it right now. But overall, that's pretty much how it is when you do that. And when you do these videos too, do not feel like you have to be perfect. Like this is your business. Like just hit record, show how you're doing it. You can probably be like me and kind of like start over a few times, but overall, give yourself like a little time limit. Like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and show off this thing. I'm gonna show her how to do this. Like just talk it through. And sometimes you may realize like, oh, I'm actually missing a step. Let me kind of like try that again. Like not only is it good for like the person you're about to hire, it's good for yourself too. Because like when you actually talk stuff through, especially when you're on video, you realize like, oh, maybe I don't want to do that. Like maybe I should have done this, or maybe I can do that a little bit different. Like you realize stuff like that, but don't try to do everything at once. And that's with any of these, like even if you have Trainual, do not try to do that all at once. Like take your time. Only if you can only do maybe 1 a week, do 1 a week. But overall, when you make the full SOP, just make sure you have the most important thing, like tell them what exactly you need the people to do, and then also show them like how to do it. If it's one of the situations where you don't know what you're doing and you're hiring a professional to do what you need them to do, have a goal in mind. Like just write down the goal. So like inside of this, if it's something that you're hiring somebody for and you're not specializing it, just show them how, like what were you envisioning with them? Like, what is the aftermath? Like you hired them, what are you envisioning like aftermath? Like, do you want them to stay on with you? Do you want them to like set something up and then kind of like show you like the automation? Like what exactly are you hiring somebody for? So that way you can kind of have like a better idea of how that works. So yeah, there's that. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to mention while we're in here. But overall, I'm just gonna kind of do like a brief recap because I kind of went quick. I didn't really break down the whole thing. So let's say you are starting off with Trainual. And again, I just want to mention this. Do not get Trainual if you're just by yourself and you're still trying to figure things out. Like, it is amazing, but I would honestly wait. That's just another expense you don't really need right now. If you are at the point where you're hiring for like you want stable people in your business, like you're hiring for that, and like you have enough in your business budget to get this on, definitely get it on. That's why I switched. It took me a minute to switch over, and I was working with the company. It took me a minute to switch over and start putting my stuff in here. Like, I use Project Man too. I use ClickUp for the longest, and now switching things from ClickUp over to here. So don't feel like you have to rush to get something like this. But if you are in a area where you're like, okay, I need to make sure all this stuff is situated, like Trainual was like dedicatedly made for SOPs. So it's like the perfect software for that. But do not get it right away if you don't need it. So I just want to say that, reiterate that. I'm going to go through again. So if you were thinking about getting it and you are in a place to get it, I was going back through like my desk that shows you, of course, it's going to tell you how to use Trainual. You can get rid of it if you want to. And then they also have things like quizzes and stuff. So like if you have employees and you want them to take like a test, just to ensure that they're watching videos, you can also do this with certain contractors as well too, if you want to, up to you. It'll show like who actually took quizzes or who took their tests, who's finished, who's certified. If you want to be fancy and make a little certification, you can do that stuff inside here. But you can do a whole bunch of stuff in here. I didn't really show that yet just because I'm not, mine's not set up, and it looks cooler when it's actually set up and I can actually show you guys. But that is my goal, to have this done so I can actually show you more of the cooler features. But anywho, so my desk, that shows like that. So if you think like the dashboard of any software, this is what the My Desk is. And then you have the company. This is the information about your company, what it does, all that stuff. I have my like start here. This is where people learn about like the mission of the Lazy Millennial, vision, all that good stuff, and like the software we use. This is like a general thing for everybody is going to go through, not just certain people. And then here, people, this is where you can put like the people inside your organization, your company, who's working with your company, whether it be contractors, employees, whatever it is. You can put all their roles so people know who to actually go to, so they don't actually necessarily have to really go to you for everything. Like, they have everything right here. So that's what the people is for, self-explanatory. Policies, again, this tells you the what of your company. So anything that needs a what can go in here. So like they have like templates here, like employee policies, like your branding. If you work in an office, like what are the office policies, all that stuff. So it tells you what to do. So policies, what to do, just think about that. And then the processes, this is where your SOPs are going to live at, the library. And the best thing about Trainual too, you can give, God, what is the word I'm looking for? I am like all over the place, man. You can give access, there we go. You can give access to certain people within like the processes, because not everybody's gonna need access or need to know how to do everything. So you can pick and choose who you want to have access to this kind of stuff. So I just want to throw that out there too. Not everybody is gonna have access to everything inside Trainual just because you invite them in. That's where the roles and stuff come in as well. So just want to throw that out, but this is where your library is gonna live at. This is where all SOPs go at. You can do step by step, and of course they have what's the thing called, templates as well for you to use, and you can kind of like pivot or make it yours. But overall, like any software, it's awesome, but it gets overwhelming when you first get inside of it. So just start small. Again, even with your SOPs, like just start off with your company policies. What is your company about? What's the mission, vision? This goes for SOPs, not just Trainual. Like just start off with your personal business boundaries and then build off of that, because everything at the end of the day is going to fall off of that. Like your goals for that, whether you're selling generational wealth or you're just trying to make some money right now. And if you're just trying to make money and not really sustaining, then honestly, you don't really have to worry about SOPs because you're not trying to sustain anyway. But when you're trying to sustain, like make sure you have this stuff, but you have to make sure your personal SOP stuff is done. So that's all I got for y'all today for this live. I am going to stop this. If those of you on Zoom, if you have any questions and want me to go over anything, I'm about to stop sharing this and turn off Facebook. Feel free to do so. If you're watching a replay, feel free, or on live now, I'm not looking on Facebook, If you're on live now, if you have questions, I will go through the comments tomorrow and answer anything you have, or like at a future time. But thank you guys for tuning in. That's all I have for y'all. And oh God, I almost forgot. If you do decide to roll with Trainual, make sure to use, I got a special code, y'all. All right, make sure to use the code LAZY10 for 10% off your plan. You could get the monthly plan or the yearly plan, get 10% off. And if you decide to get an SOP service from the Lazy Millennial, hold off on that because I give an extra discount if you buy the plan through me. So just want to throw that out there. Now I'm done. I'm gonna turn this off. If y'all have any questions on Zoom, I'm gonna let y'all talk. So I'm gonna stop this share. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the Facebook Live. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see y'all soon. And I'm about to turn this off and make sure. How do you turn this off? Oh, okay. Well, that ended abruptly. I'm gonna turn off this recording.